Can you not feel the world turning in my direction already?
There are far worse things awaiting man than death.
Howdy folks, welcome to this episode of Fluffenhammer Community Radio. We're going to be reacting to this week's reveal show live from the World Championships of Warhammer in the States. I'm David, and I'm delighted to be joined by Swanee.
Delighted! Oh,
I am!
I'm delighted to be invited back on. I actually was really surprised, really nice. Also, hi everybody, hello.
Hey, we had a great natter. It's wonderful to chat with you because I love different perspectives, and because you're relatively fresh to things, to the hobby, and stuff. It's fun to see things through your eyes. So I really do dig that. And because there's stuff I've known about for decades, and to see it recontextualized for a modern audience, and to see that coming through with how you interact, I adore that. So it's always wonderful to have a natter.
It's great fun, except for when I get a book that's 20 years old spoiled for me. How old is Hell's Reach?
Oh,
I'm not bitter. I'm a little bitter.
Actually, yeah, it might be pushing 20 years now. Actually, that's that's actually a good point. It's getting there. It was certainly, I think, pre-2010.
You're right. That sound of me typing was me looking up 27th, 27th April 2010. It's like, the book's 20 years old. Yes, but it's niche, my dear friend. Can't know everything about everything all the time.
I try, damn it. It's my major weakness. I want to learn everything about every setting possible. It's why I know nothing about the real world.
But it's great when you read a book and then 5 years later you're like, what happened in that book? And you read it again, you're like, oh wow.
Yeah, I've been having that because I've been listening to audio versions of some of the heresy books.
Yeah.
And it's actually been great because the book I've read everything with this one in the heresy.
Yeah.
Because I got it as it was coming out. I followed all the arcs. But to go back and pick out so basically I went through the Unremembered Empire arc.
Yes.
Right through to Ruinstorm and the big breakout.
Yeah. But
to actually hear it, there were things that I was just like, oh wait, I hadn't realised that before. That's really interesting. There's something there that my brain hadn't treated, but hearing it spoken and narrated to you, the connections just were made so much.
It's like when I was rereading Horus Rising just very recently, and it was after midnight. I was in my bed, half asleep, and I'm reading Cinderman's speech, and I was just like, this doesn't make sense. This does not make sense. But because I was so exhausted, I was trying to make the sense of it, because the Imperium are the good guys, right? And I woke up, from my point of view, actually, the Imperium is. But I was sitting and the whole bit where he's like, we're stronger than you, so our truth is truer. And I was just like, that doesn't make sense. And Dan Abnett is he's not even subtle in telling you that, no, it doesn't make sense. It's all propaganda. There's plants in the audience. But I was so tired. I was like, am I an idiot? So I just don't get it.
See, what I especially love about the heresy books is that they're quite clear in establishing that, one, the Imperium is kind of monstrous, especially in how it was formed.
Oh yeah.
But there was that. But it's also very clear that it's all like that intentionally, because it was all the plan that the Emperor had. He knew that he had to do these monstrous acts to get to a certain point.
Oh,
it's the ultimate ends justify the means.
The writers do a fantastic job in making warlords sympathetic.
Yes, but the thing I find really fascinating is looking at how each of the Primarchs and their legions deals with the idea of what comes next.
Yeah, it's I've still only read up to Fulgrim because I've been reading a lot of 40k, but it's in that reread where you see that Horus, despite being a warlord, is very, very soft-hearted, but still incredibly ruthless.
Oh yeah.
One hand held open in kindness, the other held ready as a fist.
Yeah.
Submit or die.
Yeah, there's reasons why the Emperor made him the War Master of everyone else, because he had that balance that a lot of the others leaned too far one way or the other.
Yeah.
So it's like, even though Horus thinks it should have been Sanguinius knows himself enough that he couldn't do it because he holds he's both too tender-hearted and holds too much rage under control because of his first.
Yeah, I think as well that degree of, is the word humility in Horus, where he was like, it's always the mark of a good leader in storytelling is the person that says, no, I'm not worthy. Also, I've recently rewatched Transformers the movie.
Yeah, I love that film. It's so
very good. It's
Yeah.
very good.
Is it a product of its time? Absolutely. Was it?
Is it? What? No, it's a great movie.
Is it a big toy advert? Hell yeah! But it's also very well made.
It's full of some of the rawest one-liners I've ever heard in cinema, outside of Predator and the "I ain't got time to bleed" line.
Yeah, the whole "I got better things to do tonight than die."
It's banger after banger. I have nothing but contempt for this court.
Yeah. It helps that they did recruit what was at the time like a real A-tier voice cast.
Yes, absolutely star-studded.
Yeah, and it's kind of why I had no problem with Transformers 1 having so many big names in, because, well, they did that with...
It's the same thing all over again, isn't
86. It? Have you seen TF1 yet?
I haven't yet, would you believe it? Fake fan.
I highly recommend it. It is wonderful.
They're going to drag me out back and burn off my tattoo.
Nah, I wouldn't go that far. A little like tar and feathering. That'll do.
as just as a treat, as a warning.
Yeah, but no, it was great fun. I've really enjoyed seeing it on the big screen. I have no doubt when you get around to watch it, you'll enjoy it yourself, because it's so well layered.
Oh, I'm buzzing. I'm champing it a bit. It's just something that I want to watch with my my bestie, who when she listens to this, she'll be like, "Ooh, mention." When she went to one of the conventions, there was a surprise performance by Stan Bush, and I've been jealous ever since. Yeah.
Was that one of the TF Nations?
It was whichever one they have in the UK.
It's normally TF Nations, the big one down in Birmingham. I'm actually kind of salty that I'm not because they've got a mini one in Reading this weekend, and I just can't go. And it's the closest one to me possible, really. It's like an hour down the motorway, but it just don't work, which is a shame, because I'm not really a convention guy, but sometimes it's fun just to know that there's others out there like you.
It's the community,
Yeah. Speaking of community, what are we expecting here? Because this is a real interesting selection they're doing. So they're doing 40k, AOS, Old World, Heresy, and Black Library.
Black Library 40k is my thing, and I have been pondering this because we need so there's due to be a third book in Belisarius Call's thing. I say third because Haley works in threes with the Plague Wars.
This is true.
The Blood Angels trilogy, and we've had the great work and Gene Father. Gene Father is fantastic, absolutely fantastic, and it is set us up for some really big things plot side.
It really has. I only got around to reading it fairly recently because I had to wait for the paperback. Because
heart-wrenching, it'll ruin your life.
Yeah, I actually ordered the hardback, but by the time my order was ready to ship, they'd sold the hardback to someone else. They'd taken it
Oh,
off the shelf. It was an honest mistake on their part. First time it had ever happened to me. But it's just like, damn it. Oh well, I'll wait.
yeah, I got
So,
the special edition,
ooh.
but I bought the e-copy from Amazon, I believe at like midnight
Mm,
or first chance that I got, and I read it in a weekend. I think Guy Haley's a fantastic writer.
he is. I still can't believe he used to edit SFX magazine.
SFX, really?
Yeah, that's where I
Oh,
first found his writing, because he was the editor for the longest time.
oh, that's wild.
And then
And maybe,
he went to work. I think he worked on White Dwarf for a fair bit.
yeah, and maybe writes stories about fatherhood for Warhammer.
Yeah, and he writes some of the best. When I see Guy's name, I always know that I can rely on it to be a good book.
It's a mark of quality.
Yeah, it really is.
There's definitely a few writers that are really, really, really stand out. Now there's a few new ones that really stand out. And I'll always take a chance to promote Victoria Hayward and Jude Reed.
Oh yes,
And
they seem like such lovely people.
Oh, I've met Hayward. She's so lovely. She's very, very passionate as well.
Oh yeah, her Twitter feed is delightful because she's just so enthusiastic about. Right, so the stream is now running.
It has indeed just started.
And it's back to the cozy glad behind the desk. Smaller, but hey ho.
Is it kind of a law that northerners have to just wear plaid shirts as soon as the weather turns a bit cold?
I mean, I wear a lot of plaid, but when I get the chance.
Oh, is that? It's Krieger's in it. It is indeed. But are they plastic or resin?
Oh, they're plastic. Oh.
Yes, baby!
Oh, that's lovely.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, and it's the engineers, Death Riders.
Death Riders, I've been champing it a bit for.
That Marshal on. Oh, it's a special character Marshal as well. Awesome.
Yes.
Launch Codex.
Can't wait for his eventual. Oh.
You know. Oh, that's Commissar Command Squad. Oh my lord.
Imagine
weapons. You know.
Imagine not loving the guard.
Oh.
Oh.
You know what's really handy? I have built 40 Death Corps of Krieg and a bespoke command squad already.
Yeah. Oh my god!
I can buy this and have like a whole a second guard army effectively.
This is off to a beautiful start.
These look fantastic.
Absolutely stunning. Oh my god!
I mean, people suspected that they would be bringing a lot of the old Forge World stuff across.
Oh, they would have to, and they just released the 3 special edition books as well by Lions.
Yeah.
I've yet to read Dead Men Walking and Krieg, but Siege of Vrax is fantastic.
Yeah, but this is brilliant. I mean, as soon as we saw Plastic Krieg to start with, that kill team, we knew this had to come.
They're much beloved as well, or the Krieg.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to have a second guard regiment have a full plastic range in the modern style. I mean, in my heart, I would love to have Catachans get a redo, but I understand why they've gone for Krieg instead.
Yeah, I'm a huge Cadian simp as well, so I'll let you have this.
Yeah, and the thing is, it looks like the Krieg kit itself is a lovely. One of the things I'm a big kit basher, right? And one of the things I love is when you have a complete line, so like the Cadian range, Sisters range, and now the Cadian range, to have because people think that with GW's current thing, where a lot of the bodies are much less posable than they were before, but they've lost out on what you're able to do with the older kits, like the old Cadians they're showing off here.
Yes.
And the old Space Marines. And I get it, but the thing is, you're not, because there's so much you can do with the different arm setups. I mean, it's all plastic. It's worst case.
Great. I've got some Cadians built right in front of me, right here. Oh, look at those Death Riders.
Those horses are funky.
They're great, aren't they? Vat grown.
Yeah, I'm rather taken with all these. This is great.
I've read just a little about the Death Riders, and I fell in love because they're chosen especially because they're able to think outside of their conditioning.
Yeah.
And improvise on the battlefield.
They get a great little cameo in one of the later Kane books.
Yeah.
No spoilers, but it is actually a really nice showing for them because they don't. It gets across just how kind of sinister the Kriegers are quite nice, and also how pragmatic.
Well,
So,
the Death Riders ride in pure silence as well, don't they? It's very much Death rides a pale horse.
yeah.
It's a bit on the nose, but then when is Warhammer ever not on the nose?
Yeah, this is a section where subtleties are other systems. This is not the system for subtlety. This is where
You're
you come
getting
to be smacked around the face with it.
With a brick, yeah.
Oh, yeah, those Death Riders really are the...
I love their freaky little feet.
Yeah, I've always dug about the Death Riders, but one of those little touches that they didn't need to do, but it makes them extra creepy.
Oh, yeah, they're awful.
But it's nice that we now have two different plastic types of Rough Rider. That's kind of crazy, given that they were out of the Codex 2 editions ago. Oh, artillery. That's really nice. I'm kind of wondering, will we eventually get some of the... Because this is just like the launch box for them. I'm hoping we're going to see their version of Stormtroopers in the Grenadiers. Because they were one of the more popular Forge World kits, but also more Krieg-specific vehicles, or vehicles that Krieg are known for using. So, oh god, those options for the artillery.
Really nice.
Oh.
And
dang.
At the risk of sounding a bit cheeky, though, it's really, really nice to see some, like interesting poses, bases with the 40k minis.
Yeah, sometimes it can be real difficult. Sometimes I've struggled a bit to do this. I mean, I wasn't too happy with the Cadian heavy artillery units we got.
Yeah.
So I did because I didn't like the idea of someone sitting or right behind an artillery cannon, because that's not what you do unless you want to get hit by the breach. So I did a bit of shuffling with some of the units on there to try and make it make more sense. Oh, Grenadier, the Engineers.
These are really nice.
Yeah. Dig the shotguns. The Sergeant looks baller as hell. Their little drone is cute and sinister. Oh, the Engineers is one of those ideas that they've tried to give you options to do it in the past. So they used to have special weapon teams.
Yeah.
As a 6-man squad, where you could take like 3 of them could have special weapons.
Yeah.
So you could do like the idea was so that you could play a sniper team effectively. So 3 sniper rifles and their spotters. Yeah. But I was like trying to make them as engineers. That just was fun. Oh,
there he is. I want to say as well, I'm a huge fan of teams of guys and little robot friend.
Yes. Oh, the Marshal looks funky. It's kind of weird. It's so bizarre that we've now had 2 guard characters who were both riding.
I was just thinking of
Leontis.
Yeah, I was just like, man better watch his back.
Very cool though. I like the idea of having both of them available.
Having them both on the table would be a treat.
Just for kit bashing options out there.
Yes.
I mean, imagine having 3 units of Death Riders, 3 units of Rough Riders, led by Leontis and this dude. Yes. That's a cool idea.
That chest armor with the Aquila on it is beautiful as well.
So many bits for conversions.
Also, I have to, but the Leontis novel is available tomorrow.
Yeah.
Poor Rob Young must be sick to death of me. Honestly, I've been shelling it harder than he has, and he bloody wrote the thing. Oh, look at that mechanical bit inside of it.
Ooh. So tasty.
Other stuff? What?
Yeah.
I love the classic art. Always a huge fan of the classic art.
It is fun when they do that. thing is, I'm going to have to resist the urge because last time I ordered 2 of the Cadia Stands boxes.
Yes.
I really can't afford to do that this time.
I said I wasn't going to buy any more 40k until I got through my massive pile of shame. Oh, there they are.
Ooh.
I have those.
New Combat Patrol with Rough Riders. Oh god, it's got Rough Riders and Grenadier Stormtroop Kazakin in it. I'm boned.
James Workshop's just reaching straight into your wallet and punching you in the face.
Yeah. I mean, I already have 3 squads of Kazakin, but I wanted to get some more to turn into a command squad.
You know, as a treat.
Yeah, because I'm mad like that.
There's my Queen Ursula. I love her so much. Fantastic. I recently got her mini, and I need to get it built up and painted.
It's a nice mini to build. I had great fun building her. To be fair, I hadn't planned getting her, but it was a real nice build.
She's got a great book.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic book. Changed the trajectory of my life a little bit, I think. Oh, my stream has just froze.
Yep, that's mine. Has kind of done that. This could be a factor of my internet, unfortunately, because I live in the wilds and fast, reliable internet happens to other people, sadly.
Champing at the bit for full fiber. I am refreshing Twitch. Chat is saying F, so I think it's frozen for everyone.
Damn it! And I've got to sit through the ad.
Yep, me as well. But the ad's froze.
See, this is what happens when there are 12,000 people watching a stream.
Oh, I watched the number go brrr and spin up when it got to 6 o'clock. It was great. YouTube is a few seconds behind, but it's still live. Yep, the Twitch stream has gone down.
So thankfully, it's not our fault. That's excellent. I'm happy about that. I can live with that.
Tech priests are on the case.
Yes.
Oh, there's a fella here with these gas masks, but no helmet. That's fun.
Oh. See, that's something I want to try and do is mess around with the Krieg bodies, because I know some people have used them to make Steel Legion.
Yeah. Yes.
Which is kind of ironic because that's how they went to start. That's what. Oh.
Have you got the YouTubes showing off just now? A commissar and a commissar cadet.
Come on, damn you.
Slow goofy
there we go.
Helmet on.
Oh, that's a nice commissar. That's a better commissar than they did for the Cadian release.
Oh, I don't think I got the commissar, but I've got the commissar's duty that I got at Warhammer.
The special edition commissar is lovely. The regular commissar looks a bit dull.
Look, the robot friends.
Servo skulls, yay!
A huge fan of. Oh, you go.
I've begun a fascination with just attaching servo skulls back onto stuff because I have so many bits knocking around.
I think with the kill teams, they've realised that people are really into, like I said, squad of guys and then
friend
dog robot. Because Hivestorm has got the little bot and the little Tau robot. Yo, that's sick.
That's an interesting heavy flamer setup. I'm not sure that's how I'd want to fire one, but okay.
Yeah, well. It's fine. Man knows what he's doing, and if he doesn't, then the next person will know what they're doing. Don't worry about it.
Wait, it's an 18-inch range flamer? Never mind. That solves that problem. Ooh, more festive stuff.
More stuff? What? Are you telling me this wasn't just the Deathcore release stream?
Oh, detachments for
the tabletop gaming part is where you lose me.
That's fair. But 30 different downloads for 40k?
I keep saying I'd like to learn how to play Kill Team eventually. And about 20 fellas came out the woodwork. Oh, there we go. Back into the public eye with Space Marine 2.
Yep. And as someone who does have like a massive force of Deathwatch I kit bash the hell out of. That makes me very happy.
Hell yeah.
So Guard Codex. Oh, they're getting a new detachment as well. That's cool. See, that's something that has been lacking a bit. Because when the 10th launched, there was only one detachment for each army.
Yeah.
The fact that more were added in the codexes, but some folks were reading, oh, it's the Empire, that's me gone again because I adore the Empire.
I love the aesthetic of the minis, but I never played fantasy, so it's outside of my realm, but I've got God, is it Pancreas and an IRL friend who are just hounding me. Stream is down again.
God damn it.
Hounding me to read Old World Warhammer Fantasy.
Godric and Felix. That is probably one of the best entry points I can recommend.
That's the iconic one, isn't it? I've been asked about the wife guy. The vampire and his beloved wife.
It's not Manfred von Carsten's for the later one. It is Isabella von Carsten's for wife. And I've forgotten what the husband's name is. That's embarrassing.
I might have it. 2 seconds.
Yeah. He was the first von Carstein of their blood. First of all, von Carstein bloodline, kind of like the archetypal vampire. Yeah. Ironically, they made Sylvania one of the more profitable parts of the Empire, because before they took it over, it was kind of crap.
Yeah, this is what I've been told as well. Like the lore's massively expensive.
Oh yeah, the old world is bonkers for how much there was of it. Now this is.
I've got the YouTube stream up.
So bring back all the classic plastics, which is nice.
It's really nice seeing these old world minis and seeing where a lot of the Citadel paint names have come from.
Yeah. Oh, the old Grandmasters. God, those are old. I still have 2 of those Grandmaster minis. They are older than some people who were in the Fluffenhammer Discord.
Oh yeah, it's easy to forget Warhammer goes back that far.
Territorian God, thank God, I've been wanting those for years. Basically, they were a special edition version of Greatswords they did for one of the campaigns, specifically based around the city of Middenheim, because they're Templars of Ulrich, the White Wolf God. So rather than Greatswords, they wield the iconic White Wolf Great Hammers. And I never got around to buying them, but I really want to get a set so I can do them in the classic White Wolf colour scheme of black armour with white fur cloaks. So, the classic War Wagon. And it's the metal War Wagon. God, it's the metal War Wagon as well, back in Forge World resin. This was one of the first kits I remember seeing in one of the first battle reports I ever read for Warhammer. And the War Wagon is just bonkers, because basically it's literally 2 horses pulling a carriage that's got a fighting platform filled with engineers carrying all this weird weaponry. Yeah. So you've got a blunderbuss, a man catcher, an extra long halberd, a flail, a repeater handgun, a long rifle.
Get me closer. I want to hit them with my halberd.
Yeah, well, the thing is, they were quite. If any of them they managed to survive getting into combat in the first place, because you could destroy all the crew or take out all the horses and leave it completely stationary, because that's what Warhammer used to be like.
Yeah.
But they could, if they could hit, they could do some fun stuff, because I think one of the weapons ignored shields.
Yeah.
One of them had better AP, and the other one could cause instant death if you got lucky.
Yeah.
Because it would just grab someone and kind of break their neck as they rode past, which was fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And the thing, this is an old range, because most of these minis came out between the 6th and 7th edition codices. Or
when was that?
That was 2004, I want to say, to 2010.
Oh my God, yeah, a wee while ago then, A
little bit. Ironically, I always preferred the Empire infantry from the previous edition that came in the 5th edition starter set, which gave you a sprue of handgunners and spearmen. Because when they redid, it's a Plesicarvus lighter, and Darren's going to have a moment because he's been wanting that so badly. He went up to Warhammer and bought all of their available Imperial flyers, so he may have just had a moment. Oh, big tanks, big guns, Arvus lighter, thank you. Now give me an Aquila, goddammit. Or a plastic Thunderbolt, please, for the love of Lord. More stuff for Deredeo. Fantastic.
Look at that guy. That's great.
Yeah.
40k is so stupid. I love it.
It is. But Deredeo is one of those designs for it's so daft, it's wonderful.
Brother, strap the guns to me.
Which guns, brother? Yes. I mean, the Deredeo is so stupid that the plasma cannons in the original, I'm not sure how they've tweaked it since then, but it's in its original rules.
Yeah.
It would normally cause you to take at least a couple of wounds when you fire every time you fired it.
Yeah.
And this is where Dreadnoughts didn't have that much health to start with.
God, there's
something
about the Horus Heresy models that are just so much more bombastic and greebly than 40k that really appeals to me.
Yeah, I must admit, I bought the Solar Auxilia box set purely because I wanted the Lehman Russ. Because I gave it some sponsors to make it a tank commander for my Imperial Guard. But I have built all the Auxilia as well, done them as I'm going to need that flight crew mini because that looks awesome. But I've done them all as another bunch of infantry. I converted them so they have special weapons, so I can run them as like Cadians effectively because of how the rules work. But they are wonderfully designed.
They're almost, it's definitely up there in the sillier part of 40k, which is something that I always push when promoting it to people. It's like 40k is very unserious. It's very, very unserious. It's British, innit?
It shows its but it had its inspirations in 2000 AD everywhere because neither of those are subtle universes at all.
Yeah.
And Heresy just kind of takes all that subtlety and any hint of subtlety and throws it even further out the airlock. But I love these.
It's so over the top, but it's played so straight that you take it, that you have to take it seriously.
Yes, and normally, although it is over the top, they are actually saying something as well, which is not always easy to get. And some people do miss that. They don't get it. That no, we're doing this to take the piss out of this idea really massively. If you're taking it seriously,
it's goofy. It's.
I mean, just look at the size of this goddamn flamethrower.
It's just very, as I say, it's just so entrenched in how British it is.
Yeah.
It's the subtleties of British humor. Clearly, is yes, we put a giant flamethrower on the tank. Why? Because it's silly looking.
I mean, we in World War II we had the Churchill, which had a massive flamethrower and its own fuel trailer to come along with it, and this is just that on steroids.
If we're talking about British real world tanks, I would get a kicking if I didn't mention that every British tank had to have a tea station installed because they kept stepping outside to make tea.
Yep, and still do, I believe.
Pip pip. Now, to be fair, it's always time, isn't it?
Priorities, that is. Priorities.
It's no matter how silly that you think things making fun of the British people are sillier.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Just goofy little guys.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of goofy little guys, first time I saw the resin kit, I was just like, what? Because it is such a gloriously stupid looking piece of kit. You had the Contemptor Dreadnought, which then became the Leviathan.
Yeah.
Now, then they suddenly had the idea, let's go and make the Deredeo, which is just bonkers because it is a boat hull.
What if we had a missile pad that was operated by Space Marines? No, that's too normal. What if the missile pad was the Space Marine?
Yeah. Oh, AOS time.
It can't be Skaven again, can it?
Oh,
I say this.
More Hobgrots.
Oh, that's really nice.
It is, and a miniature for the Foot of Gork and/or Mork. Hello. This all looks very exciting.
Mm.
The Hobgrots are one of those things that I've really been iffy and ahhing about because I don't like how they get painted by the studio scheme with like
Yeah.
yellow skin.
Yeah.
I kind of, part of me thinks that the Swamp Uruk should have been called Hobgoblins from the off because they have that vibe to them.
Yeah.
Classic old world Hobgoblins. But this is interesting. I heard that they were going to possibly make the Orcs much more two factions rather than merged into one. But
Yeah.
oh, these are fun.
Oh, I was about to say exactly that. They're really fun.
And I'm sure 40k Orc players looking at these going, "Oh, hello.
I can use this."
It's like there's now at least two distinct orcish head idol kits out there, which
Yeah.
a miniature can stand in or shout from. So
Just tear off that little squig shield and stick some takey bits on there.
I mean, you wouldn't even have to leave it off because I mean that could be done up easily as a bad moon symbol of some sort.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah, you're right.
God, that shaman, the way he's posed. I keep wanting to. I've got one. I'm tempted to build it. I'm gonna have to fight the ogre to give him drums. So
He does look a bit like a war boy, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he does look like he needs to be leading out, especially on that platform. Get the old goth rocker mini to go alongside him.
Yes, yeah. He looks like he's saying, "We will rock you."
Yeah. Oh,
The faces and the
I
bones.
love seeing faction terrain, and it's such a fun and endless spells as well. It's a lovely idea to give each faction something unique to mess around with.
Oh, there you go. It's the foot of Gork.
Yep, classic one there. Used to be you literally had the foot-shaped template. You just put her on the battlefield.
Is that a Monty Python reference?
It probably started that way, but it was just such it's such a silly idea that they just ran with it. If you played Orcs, you could expect to see the foot of Gork at least once a battle.
Are you telling me that Games Workshop had a silly idea?
I know, right? What are the odds?
Yeah, well, so hope it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, too much silliness is such a bad idea.
Not in my Warhammers. Oh
yes. Ooh. See, one thing with the Ironjaws, they're berserkers. I get the idea of their berserkers, but one thing I really want to do is get a bunch so I can give them orcish versions of Dwarf Slayer Mohawks.
yes.
So like they're doing it because they saw Fire Slayers and decided they'd copy the idea, which is a very orcish thing to do.
Yeah.
Slap some hair swigs on to give them these big old, or if they get it wrong, so they like have made a mohawk out of metal.
Yeah.
Just
I bet
for
the old
silliness.
he's just like me.
Yeah. Oh, Hobgrot Slayer Boss, which is kind of interesting. And Gruff will be happy that he's got a big helmet, one version, which is very in keeping with where they originated in the old world. Because hobgoblins have always been associated with ye old chaos dwarves. And our dear Mr. Gruff has some might say unhealthy obsession with them. We try and be more forgiving here because we know that by the time he's finished it, that'll be when GW announce an all-new plastic range of hobgoblins.
Yep.
Or chaos dwarves, I should say. But yeah, Orc War Clans, they did say it was coming up, so that's nice to see. And orcs are always fun to see get their book because it's always going to be bonkers. And they have so much cool stuff now between the two variants.
I mean, no, on you go.
You got the big pigs in the Ironjaws, which
I do like the big pig.
Yeah, it's one of those ideas I would kind of like to see turned into a 40k miniature, which I'm sure someone's done.
Yeah.
Because they used to have boar riders in 40k.
Really? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, they've made them now into the squig riders, but they used to have cyber boars. Literally cyborgs.
That's really cool, actually.
Yeah,
because I've got the Squig Riders, but that sounds rad as hell.
Yeah, the miniatures like I say, the last miniatures for them were like nearly 30 years ago.
Mm.
But part of me wants to just try and remake them using the new kits because that'd be fun as hell.
Yeah.
Just some Snakebites saying, "No, we don't ride our squeaks. We believe in good old porkishness."
Return to tradition.
Yeah. And nice to see a new path for glory book as well. Things like this and the Crusade books they've done for 40k. I like them giving people narrative options to play with.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So much of what gets out there in the social media space is about the competitive scene, when really GW systems really sing as narrative systems.
Yeah.
Because really nothing should be really balanced. Not really. And it just feels a little... It doesn't do a service to the factions if everything's balanced fully, if that makes sense. Because it's always been more fun to see scenarios play out where there's a match play is useful because it means everyone can have a reasonably fun experience. But sometimes you want to have scenarios where things are...
It's in God's hands. Yeah. Kind of like it's the random. So the only thing I can liken it to is like D&D. You know how you can have a character that is optimized to be the best fighter, and then you roll terribly.
Yeah.
And it makes for a great experience. Right. I am not a Sigmar fan, but I can't deny that Age of Sigmar has some really beautiful minis.
They really do. And this is all the Wolf Riders you could want. Oh my lord.
Yeah, like I don't know if you went to Warhammer Fest, but a lot of the
Doom Diver!
Look at that!
It's the Doom Diver!
A lot of the oh my goodness, Golden Demon is Age of Sigmar, just because they've got so many little bits and details.
It's understandable. Really, the AOS team, the miniature design team, bring their A game to AOS.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Don't get me wrong, 40k has had some lovely stuff over the last few years, but really AOS is where it's at. If anytime you see someone say, "I love that GW miniature," 9 times out of 10, it's going to be an AOS mini.
Age of Sigmar. It might be an unpopular opinion. I think 40k, not counting Necromunda, I think 40k is the weakest design-wise.
That's not unfair. That's not unfair. I mean, AOS does help because it is much more of a free space to. They are still kind of establishing a lot of stuff, even now, like a decade in, because of how they approach things. So each version of the game has brought you in closer and closer and closer to how the setting's viewed.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, this is lovely to see because for quite a while in AOS, they were making the goblins more into the night goblin aesthetic, the moon clans, as they're called now.
Yeah.
And the night goblins were they were really the most fleshed out aspect of the old world for the goblins.
I'm listening, but I'm squinting at that book on the table.
But Wolf Riders is such a classic concept for goblins. It's been
Wolf Riders is just great fantasy as well.
Yeah, but it's always become been the iconic, what used to be called the Forest Goblin unit.
Yeah,
the Wolf Rider cavalry would just it was the Orcs and Goblins skirmishing cavalry unit effectively, and it featured so many stories because they were the gits who rode out on the outskirts and would normally be raiding folks.
Yeah,
but these do look fantastic. I mean,
they're
those wolves
really beautiful.
Oh, as a Space Wolf player, I'm hoping this is a sign of what we can expect when the Space Wolves get their time in the sun. Because I'm not one to take everything wolf related, but I do like to have a pack at least of Fenrisian wolves on the table.
Yeah,
and to have them have this sort of vibe would be nice. But this is lovely because this is like 3 classic elements of goblins brought back. You got the Goblin Wolf Chariots, the Wolf Riders, and the frickin' Doom Diver Catapult.
Good release stream then.
Yeah, the Doom Diver is classic because it's literally it's a catapult. In the old days, it was literally just like a classic comic book catapult that someone would use to shoot stones.
Yeah.
It was one of those stuck in the ground or mounted on 2 wheels with the grot attached to the lackey band at the end with big wings, and they basically launch him as an artillery piece at the other army. And you never knew what was going to happen. But Doom Diver was one of the most random weapons in a game where artillery could be incredibly live or die, depending what you rolled. But you could have.
This is beautiful, by the way.
I know this war boss on his Great Wolf. That's freaking fantastic. And he's a chunky fella as well. He's got a bit of a shade of the older Gromber paunch to him, this lad. That's lovely.
I like this this lore that they're giving as well. But there is that I don't know how popular these are. I can imagine that they are though, because everyone loves any character that's aligned with dogs or wolves, because it's that kind of like sentimental, I suppose, bit of connection.
Yeah, I get that. And I mean, in fairness, the orcs, well, especially this part of the goblins, a lot of their range, reason why they shifted away was because a lot of their range was old even when Warhammer died.
Yeah.
I think the newest kit was the big forest goblin giant spider, the Arachnarok, that had like a fighting platform on the back.
Yeah.
But I'm loving seeing them bring back things like this and give it the AOS spin, because these were beloved concepts and they're fun concepts.
Oh yeah, it's really out there.
Yeah, and I love how they've designed this Doom Diver catapult as well. So you've got two variants. You can have it shooting with a elastic, they've sculpted it so it's kind of you can see the tension going out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, I know in a stream that's had some real bangers to it already, this might be my favorite reveal so far.
Really?
The frickin' Doom Diver catapult.
Yeah, and this is a completely new version of an old model, you said?
Absolutely. The old one was literally two 20mm bases.
Yeah.
Well, technically it was a cavalry base with a 20mm miniature at the other end, because that was basically the ammunition. And if you rolled a misfire, you could literally run out of ammunition and just have the catapult sat there with nothing to fire.
Oh.
But I think it had one further version when they revised it in like 2001, 2002 time.
Yeah.
But to see it come back in this, oh my lord, that's a big pole.
I like his little bird hat.
Yeah. This is so much fun. There's so much character in this. This is such a wonderful release, and it's another box set as well. Another a big launch release. That's brilliant.
Is the most Mad Max looking fantasy thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah. It's great to see them get their own spin on things and come back in a very. They're not as. Like I say, used to be they made them into like forest goblins, so they were very attached to that element of things.
Yeah.
But this, like what you say, they've leaned into the Mad Max aesthetic. That's great.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Oh.
Ooh, Battletome. I say that as if I know what that is.
It's their version of Codex.
It's a book. I like books.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I love owning codexes and battletomes because they give me lots of lovely lore to read through.
Yeah, I do have a few older codexes kicking about.
Well, I mean, I still own every codex and Warhammer Army book released between 1992 and 2008.
They're speaking my language.
Oh, books!
What have we got? What have we got? What have we got? Adorn my bookshelf. There's no space left.
Oh, a Gothic omnibus and a book about Malaneth. Gimme.
There's no space left on my shelves.
You don't need a new art book as well, and Red Titan, Outer Dark. Oh, thank God! I've wanted a copy of Outer Dark for ages because I missed it first time. Celebration 2025.
Oh, I love the celebration. It comes up just after my birthday as well.
Oh, that's handy. I was going to say, no, you missed the point. If you run out of any bookshelves, you stack.
Yeah,
that's why I have.
Look!
Oh,
sorry. A new Imperial Infantryman's Handbook. Fantastic.
Yep, that's going to get an order because I've missed every version of it before.
I've got the older version of that. Oh, it's Krieg themed. Oh no, don't. Does it have like annotations in it from the trooper?
More than likely, yeah.
Oh no, I don't need a second one. Do you know what? I do need a second one.
Oh, the art of. I have so many Art of 40k books by this point. It feels rude or another one, but go on then.
That's Aveline, I believe her name is, who recently got a book.
Yes. Oh, Malinef. She was a lovely addition to the Gotrek books.
She's the lady that travels alongside him, and the whole time she's like, "I want that fancy rock that you've got." Yeah.
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 They parted ways at the end of their new Minka book.
Oh, I've not even read any Justin D. Hill's work yet, but he seems a lovely fella.
Yeah, the Minka books are fantastic. Oh, that Gotrek omnibus.
I read the forewords for Shadow of the Eighth, and you can see that he's very passionate about the character. So it is about time that I would start reading that series.
It's so good, and it's really nice that it's available in just like an omnibus edition as well. Those first few, so I do like how. Oh, nice recap as well. It is her scene over here.
Oh.
Ooh, and
are we getting that Emperor's Children tease?
Oh, hello. I spy Phoenix Lord. I spell a warp spider Phoenix Lord. Get in. It's only taken them 32 years.
Is that it? Is that all you get? Is just a cheeky peek?
Oh no, plastic swooping hawks.
Oh, those are very nice.
New Baroff. That is freaking fantastic. Oh, you know what? I've never really. Oh, plastic warp spiders. Thank you. Literally, this is the oldest set squad in the entire 40k range.
I've seen them talked about in like other videos and that. That's really nice.
Yeah, they're new fire dragons as well. I was kind of hoping there might be a combo with Dire Avengers, but I get why not.
Oh my god, I can't wait for 2025 to be the year of Aldaria novels.
They're doing everyone. This is great. Azaman was kind of weird they didn't do him first in plastic because he was like the iconic one. But someone bring me my smelling salts. This is we knew it was coming, but lordy. But you know what? We knew it was coming because of how they've been releasing the other plastic aspect warriors and slowed in the Phoenix Lords. But to get that last big chunk, and really that basically means that the entire range, Craftwood Elder range, has been redone within the last decade.
Yeah.
Apart from the tanks, which are all still based on the Falcon, which is now nearly 30 years old.
Yeah.
But it's still timeless. But everything else, I think it's safe to say, has been done in like the last decade. Apart from the Dire Avenger kit, that is going to be the oldest infantry kit because that was like 2009, I think. But that's really cool. I like to see an army all in plastic. Again, because like I said, the conversion possibilities. To have all these in plastic is so many options.
Oh yeah.
And it might mean that now we can finally get them to do exodites. Because everyone wants dragon riding Eldar savages.
Yes.
Because who wouldn't?
These are really, really nice.
They really are. I know people had issues with the Dire Avenger, not the Dire Avenger, the Dark Reaper helmets because of how they have the no nose thing.
Yeah.
But the rest of them were lovely, and these are just fantastic. I mean, the fire dragons have always been a bit of an undervalued unit, partly because of how hard it was to buy a squad because you had to buy them in metal.
Yeah.
Or fine cast. It's a squad that's all armed with melter guns, effectively.
Okay.
That's really nasty.
Really beautiful models, though.
Yeah. Oh, and they can take flamers as well now. That's just... Oh, that's going to make lots of people's days bad. Oh, and the Exarch. And I'd like for me to be Exarch part of the kit as well, for all of the Aspect Warriors. Because the Exarch is just iconic. Swooping Hawks. And you know what?
Those are lovely.
They probably didn't need a redo as much as any of the other Aspect Warriors, but these are quite fantastic.
The team figured while they were at it, they might as well.
They might as well. I mean, they've managed to keep the sense of movement that all versions of the Swooping Hawks have had over the years, and it's not an easy thing to do.
I don't hate the tactical rocks. I think they're rad.
Yeah, I mean, in instances like these, where it helps get across the sense that these are very light, very agile. It's different when it's a model that's supposed to weigh best part of a ton, balancing on a small stone.
You leave Dante alone.
Look, I'm just saying, when I finally get him, he's going to be sliding down that rock, okay?
That's
Baroff is
beautiful.
Yeah, and it's actually keeping a lot of the posing of the original mini as well, which I like, because he always had the sword raised up high and his las blaster braced like that. So this is just a nice, solid update to them. And Swooping Hawks are, again, they're one of the iconic aspects. I don't know many Eldar players who have not had at least one unit of Swooping Hawks just to irritate people.
Yeah, or are they that bad?
They could... I mean, they had things like grenade packs in their legs, so when they flew, they could drop grenades on people.
Oh, that's nasty.
It was, and depending on the edition, they could just be really, really a pain in the butt.
Yeah, just ruin everybody's day.
Yeah. Azerman's a bit basic, because he is like the archetypal Phoenix Lord, the first, and he's the Dire Avenger Phoenix Lord, but they've nailed him. I mean, again, he's got...
That's a very 80s, even now, looking tabletop mini.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that as a criticism. I think that's fantastic.
I hope that he's got an option to have the sword in his other hand and just pointing, because that's what the original mini does.
Yeah.
He's just pointing with his sword braced in the other hand.
That limited color palette of just primary colors, though, is very nice.
Yeah. It really does come through over quite nicely. And again, it's just nice to see, because the Eldari is like, we've had Nids, we've had Necrons. So to get Eldaris now, it gives you like the three extremes of the Xenos races.
Yes.
So it's going to be fun to see what they do here with the new codex. And it looks like they are trying to play around with what they did in the index rules-wise. It's really interesting because Combat Patrols are in it at the moment, the magazine. And Eldar are going to be in the next crop of 20 issues. With some very tasty bargains, if you're so inclined. Because, like, I think the Wraith Guard / Wraith Blade kit is only going to be like a tenner for the whole squad.
Yeah.
Because it's not been split between other issues, if I remember rightly. And the Wraith Lord, I think, might be a solo issue as well. And that's a lot of beef for way under retail price if you're that inclined. So if you like Eldar, keep an eye out for that, because that's going to be a real bargain for you. But, come on.
That's not all.
Show us the Warp Spiders. Gimme. Warp Spiders have been one of the units I've kind of always dug since they first appeared.
Yeah.
And the original mini was very cool, but that was literally 30 years ago. It is the oldest unit you can still legally buy and play in the game. They've appeared in a couple of video games, because they were in a couple of the Dawn of Wars. They're very popular because they actually have had decent rules for most editions, and they're fun because the idea is that their jump packs actually take them through the warp.
Yeah.
Every time they jump, there's a chance that Slanesh might kind of go, tasty, yoink.
Oh no, yeah.
Yes, yeah. So they've always got this sense of doom about them. They're kind of like
high risk, high reward.
Yeah, but then their gun is basically fires a stream of monofilament fibers.
Yes, yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, the sort of thing they normally use in, well, one of their artillery guns, and can actually slice people to pieces. So it's one of these ideas that's just, it's always looked cool in artwork and descriptions, but the miniature hasn't. Oh, this Phoenix Lord is great. There's been a few people on the third party scene in recent years who've done really nice takes on Warp Spiders.
Yes.
And I am seeing not a small bit of that in some of what we've been shown here, but it's all got its own uniquely GW spin to it as well. And this Phoenix Lord looks fantastic. I've said that word a lot in this reveal show, and I don't apologize at all.
It's been a really good release stream.
It has. I mean, I love the energy flare for Portal.
How it looks like a spider web, yeah.
Yep. The sword's brilliant. I love that they've given them the extra set of the 2 extra sets of arms, so it is a proper arachnid aspect to it.
The arms, the eyes, the little
the mandibles on the helmet.
Thank you, yeah.
It's all so good.
Leaning right into the spider aesthetic so shamelessly.
It is.
I'm not even mad about it.
No, and I love it. It's so wonderful to see. It's been a long time coming. All the Aspect Warriors, really, but it's so great to see them come up now.
Pictures.
Yes.
Look at all these social medias. Oh.
No blue sky yet.
Not yet, but soon.
Ooh, Warhammer Plus.
Ooh, Warhammer Plus.
I need. It's one of the downsides of them not having a decent app for smart TVs.
Yeah.
So watching their stuff can be a bit of a pain, but.
I will always promote Warhammer Plus. I know the earlier animations are not that good. Angels of Death, which I've still not finished watching. Fantastic story, amazing voice acting. Interrogator is beautifully animated and fantastic. And of course, everybody's seen Tithes and Pry Nexus. Episode 3 of Tithes is peak. And there's your secret level.
Yeah, I love how the helmet, they do that thing where it just compresses in.
So good, isn't it?
Yeah. Little thing.
What is that critter with the blue blood?
Dunno. Look forward to finding out.
It's all kind of it's all coming up. What is that? That feels like a secret thing. It's all coming up like Warhammer lately with
Yeah.
It's they've somehow managed to hit this massive high point where they've had Space Marine 2 Dark Tide is about to have a massive story beat.
Yep. Mechanicus 2 drops in the new year at some point, I believe.
There's special edition novels coming out 1 week after the other, bang, 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 and they are all fantastic. They've got a fantastic team of writers.
Yes.
The latest episode, the latest series on Warhammer Plus, your Pry Nexus, and what did I say? Tides.
Yeah.
Beautifully animated, fantastically written. Again, you can't praise enough the writing and voice acting teams. And this fantastic reveal stream, because a lot of people were a little let down by the last reveal stream.
Yeah, the last couple, I mean, the one before last where they said that there was going to be no new 40k stuff for the rest of the year, effectively.
Yeah.
And then the last stream where most of it was the battle forces, which wasn't really what anyone wanted or expected.
Yeah.
Because the Christmas box sets, that's never been on a reveal show before, to my knowledge. It's not just got an article. We normally know they're coming, and then we get an article. So
kind of felt like
they were trying to pad because they couldn't reveal anything else. I mean,
yes, it felt like we have to do a reveal. The Christmas minis, the Rattlings, Kill Team. Although Kill Team, I will admit, the minis are always really nice. They're all really unique, which I love. They've all got their own character. And you do kind of get the vibe where they must have been sat like, oh god, no, fuck. We'll tease the Emperor's Children. We'll tease it. Yeah.
I mean, it was quite clear that they've been having supply issues for most of this year has had they've been better. The 2 week window has
yeah,
helped things, but stuff with like the situation in the the Red Sea hasn't
yeah,
helped with shipping having to be diverted around the Cape of Africa instead.
yeah,
Uh, it does cause impact because GW does get all their stuff gets printed in China now,
mm,
and they used to get a good chunk of their terrain done over there.
yeah,
Especially some of the bigger when they were doing the Apocalypse, a lot of the bigger pieces were done outsourced to China.
mm,
Uh, so we don't know how much of that is still outsourced that way, but the printing alone would have been a big factor in limiting what they could do if they had to delay things to build up a decent stockpile of stuff they could actually release sensibly to the public. It
yeah.
makes sense. It's frustrating as customers, but if you think about it, it's understandable from the company's perspective.
Oh
Could they
yeah.
explain it better? Probably. Would we like to get that? Probably not.
Oh, it's all
But
been secondhand to me as well because I've been
yeah,
eating great because
yeah,
it's books I like.
yeah. But no, this has been a wonderful stream. I mean, we knew Krieg was coming. To
Mm.
see them getting the same treatment as Cadians got when they had their big relaunch, wonderful. I love that.
Oh, I can't wait to pad out my military armies. I've become a huge
Hmm.
fan of the the Imperial Guard.
It's my fault. I keep referring to them as Imperial Guard because my brain just won't let me call them Astra Militarum. I don't know
I
why.
I like saying the fake Latin words to make me feel smart.
Yes, they do that very well, don't they? All
Space Marines, I think you mean the Adeptus Astartes
yeah.
Imperial Guard.
I can't call them Skitari either. It has to be Skitari because
Skitarius. I see. No,
yeah,
that's the one where I go the other way and call them
mm.
skits.
Yeah, that works. It's funny. I was building some Skitari today, and I've come to the conclusion I hate building them. I
Oh,
have two more. I
they're
have two.
awful.
I have two more kits to build.
They are so spindly.
Yeah.
Beautiful little models, really fun, really cute.
Mm.
Might have been the first models that I built when I got back into Warhammer, and
Oh, I'm
they're
so sorry.
they're in a Tupperware box, fully primed up with no arms.
Mm. Well,
Hate them.
yeah. I mean, I've only got another 20 to do.
It's fine. I've only got another 20 boxes of minis to do. Don't ask me about my Cadia Stands box or my just don't ask me anything. Don't ask me anything.
Oh,
Don't.
whatever you do, don't go searching in the Discord for pictures I've posted of my piles of shame or how my room looks, because you will probably feel a lot better after seeing them. But yeah.
No. Do you know what? I'll shame myself. I got the Hivestorm box, and because it's quite a
Mm.
tall box,
Mm.
because I think it's got terrain in it.
Yep.
I couldn't comfortably put it anywhere in my office / hobby room. It's under my bed, which somehow feels more sinful. It's like a dirty little secret just shoved under there.
Well, I mean, my house on box only has terrain in it now, and that's because I took out all the minis and then stuck a bunch more terrain kits I had lying around in it.
Oh, it's now the terrain store box.
It's, the worst thing is that I have another previous kill team box that is also being used for terrain storage,
Mm-hmm.
and then another box that's just other kits I got from Powerworks. So
Yeah.
I have a solution though. I got one of these cordless little mini grinding tools, little
Mm-hmm.
lithium powered one.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that'll make things a lot easier to just do all the mold lines instead of having to use a hand file.
Oh,
so,
yeah, good shout.
so that might kick me in the ass to actually get some of this stuff built and then get some big tubs to store it in that way.
And
Save some
then
space.
shove that under the bed in the loft. Forget about it.
Yeah, but so let's see. So we've had the Krieg, which is
Yeah, the
lovely,
Krieg.
and it's great to see them coming back in force.
Oh,
With a
let me pull up the Warhammer community website.
good point. Let's.
All the pictures will be there. Yep, the Krieg minis are so lovely. And I love that it's just a big box that just says Deathcore of Krieg. Like the Cadia box got Cadia stands, which is the slogan. But the Deathcore, and keeping with the very utilitarian Deathcore of Krieg, I really like. I just think they're neat. Oh, you still there?
Anything else needed?
Oh.
Sorry, my connections can go sometimes. I do apologise. It's the hazard of my internet, unfortunately.
Can it be helped?
Yeah, this is what happens when you live in the sticks. But I say sticks. I'm between two major towns on a military base, but I'm in the countryside, so what I'm going to do?
Right, I am looking up this fella, Lord Marshal Vernon Dreer, to see if. Who am I to deny my nature? I need to see if he's mentioned in a book, and I don't think he is, which means during the February Black Library celebration, I cannot wait for the Vernon Dreer novel. I wonder. Oh, but I do wonder which author. Oh no, it would have to be Steve Lyons. It would have to be the man.
That's a good shout.
Just eats, sleeps, and breathes Krieg.
I'm digging this command squad. I know I've already got one built. That's going to be my lieutenant, so this can be the company captain, effectively.
Yes.
But I like that they've brought back the dual heavy stubbers that were in the old Forge World set. I didn't expect them to be heavy stubbers, but that's cool. Oh, the standard codex cover. That's tasty.
It's nice, isn't it? That little bit of a traditional art. I'm pretty sure that's actually the Siege of Rax on the cover, isn't it?
It might be a fresh piece of art, maybe, because I don't think I've ever seen that one before.
I think I've seen it.
I'm
searching it with Google Lens. I'm sure I've seen it.
Or possibly when they flipped.
It's a pre-existing artwork, but I couldn't tell you where it's from off the top of my head.
It's a nice piece, though. It gets across the Krieg pretty succinctly.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a nice counterpoint to the piece we got for the Cadia stands, to be fair. So that's nice. Next up, then, was the Horus Heresy.
Iron Jaws. Oh, yes, so it was.
Yeah, so we got the Plastic Harvest Lighter, which actually looks really nice. And as I said, our good friend Darren in the Fluffenhammer, he will be drooling over this kit, because, like I say, a few weeks back he raided Warhammer World and picked up, I think, their last resin kits of Biarvus, the Lightning Strike Fighter, and the Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
He's kind of become a bit obsessed with airplanes in a 40k setting. But no, this looks really good. I hope it's a sign that we're going to get more flyers again.
Oh, yeah.
I love the Thunderbolt. I have done ever since Double Eagle.
Yeah.
I would love a plastic version.
Oh, I need to read Double. Oh, you've just reminded me. The sequel to that.
Oh, yes.
Is on pre-order tomorrow, yes.
Intercept Rally, a book literally 20 years in the making.
That's just Dan Abnett, isn't it?
It is.
He can't keep getting away with it.
But at least he's had the good graces to set it 20 years after the original book. So.
Oh, that's fun. I like that.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of the things I've liked about the Sabbath World setting is that he has had the characters age to the point where we are now, a lot of them have aged quite noticeably compared to where they were at the start of the series.
I've so much catching up to do.
You know what's nice about Gaunt's Ghosts is? For the first 2 omnibuses, certainly, you'll just breeze through them. They are such quick reads.
Oh, I've read them. They're very, very good, but I feel like I need to reread them because they jump around from character to character, and it's a little bit jarring.
I normally reread Gaunt's Ghosts the whole lot once a year.
Yeah, as a treat.
Yeah, just sometimes I did the audiobook versions most recently because I finally had the whole lot in audiobook, so I just did all of them. And
I've been doing the audiobook of Caiaphas Cain.
the narration works so well for those books. For
It
the Cain books.
definitely lends itself better to audiobook format than reading, I think.
The paperback editions are great because the footnotes are literally footnotes.
Yeah.
The ebook versions not so much because the footnotes, you click on it and it jumps you. It's a real pain sometimes because depending on what reader you're using,
Mhm.
depends on how well it is at bringing you back to where you were to start with.
Yeah.
Which is a pain. But the audio, the way that they use multiple VAs,
it's very fun.
It is, and it really gets across the intent of Cain as well. That they
Yes.
are. Cain's far more heroic than he gives himself credit for. But equally,
on you go. Sorry.
I was going to say, but equally, he's also not as heroic as he sometimes thinks he's been.
Yes.
So,
the voice acting definitely gets across his so people always say imposter syndrome. And it's funny because it's the books that I would say grip me the least emotionally and relatable, as compared to the themes, the really more emotionally heavy themes in some of the other novels. But there's one moment in particular where he says, "I've gotten very good at manipulating people into liking me," and I was like, "Oh, that's very, very real."
yeah.
Everyone thinks I'm nice. Wait until they find out that I'm awful. And
Well, in reality, he is actually quite nice. He just
yeah. And they don't shy away from making sure you know that, because when he has to fight back against some was it planetary defense, he says he's haunted by it.
Yeah.
So he's very genuine. He's very confident, but he's just not confident himself.
Absolutely. So we had the
Yeah,
armor
sorry.
we had the tanks for 2 Malcadors.
Yes.
Which are basically an exercise in more gun, less tank.
Isn't the Malcador like one of the biggest tanks on the tabletop as well?
Yeah, it's either a light super heavy or it's just shy of being a super heavy, depending on how you think of it.
Love your best friend so much that you name a tank after him? I'm assuming that's the lore behind the tank being called the Malcador.
It is something to that effect, yeah.
I love you, bro. I named this tank after you, bro. Bro!
It has all the guns. Do what? Yeah, we just put all the guns on it.
Bro, I love you so much.
Yeah. And then the Derodeo in its refresh, so new weapon sprue.
Derodeo is the most anime name I've heard in Warhammer so far.
And yet, ironically, it is one of the original 3 names for Imperial Dreadnoughts.
Really?
Yeah.
The more you know.
Yeah, we got into this in one of our deeper dives recently, looking at the first White Dwarf article that introduced Dreadnoughts to the game. And it introduced all the Dreadnoughts, introduced Imperial, Chaos, Orc, and Eldar Dreadnoughts all in one hit.
Yeah.
It was quite nice.
I need a short story from the point of view of one of the Space Marines inside the Derodeo Dreadnought.
There have been a few stories where they've had that as an additional viewpoint. I don't know if there's anything specifically with it.
You don't need your hearing when you're in a Dreadnought. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some fun fan fiction they've done with Bjorn.
Yeah.
Actually, no. Bjorn actually has been viewpoint character in a couple of novels, especially the Battle of the Fang books. Because, well, it's Bjorn and it's a Fang with Magnus invading. He's not going to not show up. But that's quite fun. Bjorn's always fun just because he's so cranky about everything. He remembers everything as it was.
Isn't he the oldest Space Marine?
Yes,
Barring Dante.
He's the oldest, loyalist Space Marine.
Yeah, firstborn. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, he is actually older than all the Primaris as well. Because
I was going to say, yeah, because the Primaris are canonically is.
Well, most of the Primaris, because Cole didn't start the Primaris program until after the Heresy.
Yes. Yeah.
So all of the recruits he gathered were in the post-Heresy world.
Yeah.
Bjorn was a space wolf.
Who fought in the heresy?
Yeah, he was a
Yeah.
space. He became a full space marine just as the heresy was kicking off.
Oh, he's Peepaw.
Yeah, and he was actually a Bloodclaw, and then Russ kind of took a shine to him, made him. At one point, Russ got a bit all introspective,
Yeah.
and wasn't giving out commands. So effectively, you had all the
Is it gone?
chat.
Oh, connections.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, see, this is one of the fun things I keep being told. People seem to enjoy about when I talk because they don't know if my connection is going to cut out or not.
Or we just lost your train of thought.
No, I was going to say there's some fun stuff where Bjorn basically is effectively in command of the entire Legion as just a lowly Bloodclaw, but because he's Russ's man, Russ is taking a shine to him. Russ insists that Bjorn is at his side at all times.
Yeah.
If Russ isn't doing anything, Bjorn kind of is who people have asked, should we do this? And he's like, why are you asking me? Well, because Ross likes you.
That's part of the heresy stuff that I do really enjoy is each of the Primarchs has got a favourite son that they trauma dump to. I mean, discuss plans with.
Yeah, some of them more than one. Sanguinius seems to have real problems with his Legion because, well, he seems to. Well, he has multiple trauma dumps by the looks of things.
And then there's Horus with his trauma dump squad, but all they're allowed to say back is "Sounds good, Dad."
Yeah. The Mournival's a fun concept when you have Abaddon and Little Horus, who are just the biggest yes men in existence.
I'm still not recovered, and I'm rereading, and it's going to hurt all over again.
Well, trust me that some of them do get their comeuppance in style. Little Horus.
I was going to say, I don't think it's Abaddon because he's still vibing.
He is, but Abaddon's journey, especially through the Siege books, is real interesting. And Little Horus, well, he does get what's coming to him throughout several books. It's wonderful.
Oh, I'm looking forward to reading that because Little Horus is fascinating in that he's. Again, I've only read as far as Fulgrim, but that he's haunted by what he did, but he did it anyway.
Yep, he's haunted and still kind of carries on.
Those are choices that was a choice that he made. You don't get to cry about it after you did it.
Yeah, we could really natter about heresy for ages because it is just so interesting what they do there.
You could. I could natter about 5 books worth of the heresy.
But they're a good 5 books.
They're fantastic 5 books. Actually, if we're talking about things changing the trajectory of your life, then that's Fulgrim, but that's a whole other conversation that I'm sure we could spend several hours talking about in another podcast.
Yes, we shall put a pin in that conversation.
And we could always link to a previous conversation.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. So, what else do we have? So we had AOS. Aurochs are coming. Unsurprisingly, we got new Hobgrot boss, which looks really mean.
That's your Slitter boss, yeah?
Yep, we got the tower and the totem, 2 options, which is... I just love the idea of getting a couple and using them to mount a goth rock band on top for an orc army, or put them on top of a stomper.
Yeah, oh yeah. There's I mean, orcs always lend themselves well to a bit of the old kit bashing, don't they?
They so do. You got their their spell manifestations, which are just fun.
Yeah, your Monty Python foot, there it is.
Yep. I look forward to seeing how people paint that up. And I love how there's 2 versions. There's the imprint and the foot itself.
That I was going to say, I really like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it gives me hope that one of them might do... Back in the day, you used to have... When a giant died or just took too much damage, they could fall over. So they had a specific template for a giant. Literally in the shape of a giant spread-eagled, just fallen.
gonna say, could you
So
do like squish damage?
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic.
So I'd kind of love them to them to do something similar to V's, to like the Foot of Gork, but for one of the Behemoths. What the
Yeah,
giants are now in AOS. Just a fallen Behemoth could be hilarious. Or if someone's
that
not done it already, I want a 3D printed version. So if anyone's listening to this and can sculpt, get on it stat.
put that out there.
Certainly
Oh,
not gonna kit bash on myself, because that means I have to buy a Behemoth, which is as much of a night.
you'd have to work. What? No.
Yeah, we got the big mob, which is lots of armored iron jaws, which is lovely.
Many lads.
Yep. What next? We got the.
It just kept going. It
I
really
know
just kept going.
there's so much. The Empire are back for the old world with some real. The thing is, the Empire does have some tasty old minis, even this far removed from their original release. And for most of me, I look forward to seeing what folks do with the kits.
Have you got the Warhammer community page up right now?
I do.
Yeah, I love that little returning plastic.
It's a reassuring sign, isn't it?
It's not as I say, someone who's not into tabletop myself, but I've seen the passion of people who have been so excited for these to come back. So it's going to be a little bit of a treat to go through Twitter later and just it's the joyful side of the hobby that I like. I mean, everybody's happy to get what they want, but it's done well.
It is, and the really nice thing is that because of how they've been packaging the old world, it's much like Horus Heresy, where most of the squads are double size compared to 40k equivalents.
Yeah.
So it looks like they're actually going to be putting a lot, and the actual price point for these units is actually a lot better than it was in the original versions. Because stuff like the great swords, you only got 10 in the original kit, but if you're getting 20 and it's a reasonable price, that's actually a lot more attractive.
Yeah.
And it looks like you're getting like 60 flagellants, which is it's an awesome number, because flagellants do work best in big old blobs because they don't run away, they just absorb damage, because you have to kill everything to get them to move.
And really nice minis.
Yeah, and I mean, I never picked up the Empire Archers kit, the Huntsman, because that came out after I kind of left the hobby, more or less, for a period. So it'd be nice to be able to pick those up again, because they are some nice looking archers. And, well, the artillery is always fun. So much fun. Hellblast of Oligans. Admittedly, they shouldn't exist at this point in the timeline, but I'll give them a pass because they're just fun.
It's rule of cool, isn't it?
It is. The knights are fine. I like that the old War Altar is back, because I've always I regret missing that, because that's a kit that's great for conversion work.
So which one's that?
It's for one with the giant statue of the Griffin on the back.
Just like it, yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, because it actually has two builds. Because it was originally designed so you build either the War Altar or the Grand Fjorgnist of Sigmar on his personalized War Altar.
Oh, right, yeah.
And he was a very specific character from the end times of the old world. So this will still let you build that version. It just means you've got parts to play with afterwards.
I do love a kit that gives you extra greeblies when you're done.
Yeah, some nice looking characters in Forge World resin. In fact, they say returning. I've never seen these three characters, to be fair. I don't think they ever got released before, because they look far too crisp and detailed.
They're really nice, though.
They are. That new engineer is nice as well, and the fact that the War Wagon is going to be resin is reassuring, because it was all metal originally. Well, it was metal mounted on plastic wheels with plastic horses.
Oh no!
So the horses will be plastic, but they'll have resin parts this time for a lot of the detailing, and resin. I'm hoping resin wheels or plastic wheels, but resin's going to be much lighter to bounce on top of it. So
so it was crushing under its own weight.
Yes, but it should be less of a pain to build.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. The Witch Hunter. He was actually a resin miniature originally, so to see him in metal is different. But I think he released when they were moving to Finecast originally. So that's possible he got caught in the changeover and was designed in metal before.
Yeah.
But it's another one of those miniatures I never picked up because of that change. So good chance to pick one up. The warrior priests are just they're doofy fun.
That's just 40k minis right there as well.
Yeah, you could do
Which
that.
I'm fine with.
Yeah.
I like that crossover of the universes.
Yeah, the priest of Ulrich is a personal fave. Actually, it's one of the few miniatures. I have an Empire army from back in the
Mhm.
day
Yeah.
that is mostly painted, and my priest of Ulrich on foot is one of the few miniatures that is completely painted.
Yeah.
And it's always been a fave just because it was so evoked. I always love to have the Empire at this time had different. It has different religions because it's not just Sigma through and through.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Just
think.
looking at the different aesthetics.
Yeah. So I mean, they were like Sigma was the main state religion, but you had Ulrich, who was the religion that Sigma himself was a follower of.
Yeah.
You had the sun goddess Medea, who the Knights of the Blazing Sun follow.
Yes.
And the thing is, all of these gods, most of the human races of the old world, apart from, well, including Bretonia, to be fair, do honor them in some way. So,
Yeah.
like, Medea is more popular in Tylea in the south and in Estalia. You had Mor, the god of death, who had his own. You could field a unit of his knights. You had Tal, the god of nature, who lent his name to a whole city-state, Talabekland and Talheim.
It's an easy way to make a world feel lived in as well as
It is.
having them based around our own gods and religions.
It is one of the nice because most of this I learnt first because I had a copy of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, the original version.
Mm.
Still do somewhere. I know I've got a reprint of it, but it has some really wonderful stuff getting into the culture of the old world and
Yes.
the pantheon of the old world. So a lot of this information still holds true. It held
Oh
true
yeah.
right through to the end of the old world.
It's not just minis at face value. There's whole communities
Yeah,
that they're built from. Yeah.
absolutely. The engineers have always been good fun just because they're wacky maniacs with crazy weapons.
Yeah.
You got the Kree Grandmasters who they might become the oldest miniatures you can officially buy because they all came out in like 92, 93, back when their knightly orders were out in metal.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's great because they are all three of them great minis. They've stood the test of time really nicely. So I'm glad to see them back and available.
I think that's
And
the fantasy aesthetic as well. It's kind of timeless, isn't it?
yeah, I mean, it helps that they kind of took the high medieval full plate armor look of the late Middle Ages, early Renaissance,
Yeah.
and meshed it really well with the more esoteric elements of the old world, and it holds together so nicely. My personal pick of reveal of the show is the return of the Teutogen Guard.
Which one's that?
They're the hammer wielding maniacs with the furs on them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're. I was just looking at them. They're fantastic.
Yeah, I look forward to being able to buy a full regiment of them at some point because
I'm guessing they're like,
I missed out, and the aftermarket price for Teutogen Guard is bonkers. I mean, one standard trooper covered in really bad paint can cost you upwards of 20 quid.
oh yeah.
If you want one that's not like that, it'll be more. And because the hammers on all of them are separate, they tended to go missing. So a lot of people are just selling bodies with no weapons, and they still want a mint for them, which is
Yep.
hey-ho.
eBay pro painted hammer missing. 20
Yep.
quid.
Yep. Oh, it's a classic ogre mercenary. Oh, that's an old school hit right there.
That's very much a product of its time because that is every giant and ogre design I've seen in a movie since I was wee.
Yeah, that's like late 80s.
That's the BFG with a gun.
Pretty much. And he is carrying basically a cannon.
It's the BFG and he's got a BFG.
Yeah, it's great. Oh, I'd love to see it back. Oh, it's going to be a selection of ogres as well, not just one.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's awesome. But I look forward to seeing all this because the Empire is kind of like, it was always the classic Warhammer Fantasy army.
Well, this is Warhammer originally, isn't it?
Yeah, and some of these kits, they did kind of go back in the setting, and especially some of them in the setting they were designed for. Because like the Steam Tank and the Flagellants actually playable in AOS. So
well, you kind of, looking at these, as I say, this is all before my time, but you wonder how many people grew up playing Warhammer, and they've maybe even, not to get really sentimental, but how many people are maybe getting texts from their sons who are in their 20s or 30s right now going, Dad, look what Warhammer have just revealed.
Yeah. That would not surprise you. And especially given how popular Total Warhammer is. And I know that ever since that game launched, like a year after the old world died,
a
lot of people have wanted to see these factions back in some form. So
actually, I can give a personal story of
how
old Warhammer is. Hang on, I've just a very short story, but one of my colleagues at work very recently, I can't even remember how I got to, I think he'd said, what are you up to the weekend? I said, I'm going to Warhammer World. And he said, oh, I remember Games Workshop, and he'd been working not with them, but kind of like alongside the fellas as like an IT kind of job or something. I can't even remember. But this fella who can remember Warhammer, because it's surprisingly well known in the UK, just recently retired this year. So that's kind of a mark of how old this far this goes back, because it's new to me. So when I pick up a book and it says was originally published in 2010, I'm like, oh my god, that's ages ago. And it's like, no, it goes as far back as some people's dads, which is wild.
Witness me crumbling to dust when I hear things like that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still a very young mid-30s. So, but when you still say to me, something's from the 80s, there's part of me still thinks that's just 20 years ago.
Yeah, I have moments like that where I think, oh, it's fine. It was in the 90s. And I think, wait.
Counting on your fingers going 90, 20s,
yeah,
2010, 2020. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to have a lot of VTubers and got people like Brick and the Poor Hammer guys playing on YouTube in the background when I'm doing stuff. And almost every time, every show I watch of theirs, there's some point where I go, oh god damn it, I was around when that first came out, and they think it's old and cheesy. God damn it.
Poor Hammer are notorious for when they say with complete shock, this mini is older than Bricky. And I'm like, how old is Bricky?
Yeah, he's only 29, the bastard.
Oh my god.
Yeah, everyone thinks he's so much older.
I mean, he plays it up because DK's got that little baby boy millennial attitude.
Yeah.
He's only 24. He's only 24.
29.
29. Oh, that bit DK's. Oh my god.
Yep.
He's not much younger than I am.
I own books and miniatures that are older than he is.
But to be fair, I might do as well.
Yeah. But more important, my ownership of those items is older than he is.
Oh, yeah. See, that's it. Although because I still find it a shock when I buy a Black Library book and it's got the old Black Library logo on it. I've got in my hands right now, this isn't even an old book. I've picked up what I thought would be an old book, Fluffenhammer, by Graham McNeil, and it was published 2008. That's not long at all.
You say that, I was working in a bookshop when that one first came out. I remember when that hit the shelves.
I didn't even know what Warhammer was in 2008. I was a daft wee lassie just coming out of high school. Oh, how the turns have tabled, and now it's all I talk about, all I think about.
Yeah.
Built my whole personality around it.
But hey, there's worse things to talk about. I don't have
Transformers.
a drink or drug habit. I have Warhammer, Transformers, anime, Black
Yeah, there's a
Series.
reason we call it plastic crack.
Yeah. It's fine. I can stop anytime I like. It's fine. There's no problem here. No problem at all. What do you mean? No problem.
Stop anytime you like. Look at these new minis.
Also, I think we need to just jump across to the Black Library bit because there's something I just realised which
Yes.
wasn't obvious in the reveal stream. So
Mhm.
we have the first of the Malinef books, which is great. I'm
Mhm.
really looking forward to it. The Omnibus of Her Adventures with Gotrek, which is a really nice way of doing things.
Chonky book.
Oh yeah, we've
That's
got
gonna
the
be a
new.
thick boy.
We got the new Minka Lenks book,
I need to get
Hal's
on that.
Last, which has a wonderful new look for Minka as well, much different to her mini.
Oh, she's all grown up now.
Yep.
That is
That's
a
a look
grown woman.
that's a look I want in miniature form. Yeah, and if
I
GW won't do it, then I'm sure someone online will provide me files for it.
I'm going to sound very biased because I am the horrible new fan. I'm the dirty little tourist. I can understand grieving the loss of characters like Yarrick and Ursakar Creed, and seeing the ranks of big title characters being filled by women now. I kind of get that. It can be a bit grim, but I'm not immune to a female main character, and Warhammer female characters are always written so fantastically.
The thing is, it's not like female characters haven't existed in the lore since they first started writing Warhammer fiction. There's
one
been
of
a
the
lot.
first named characters in Horus Rising is the Remembrancer, isn't it?
Older than that, in fact. I mean, even before Black Library existed, in whether it's old or 40k, there were a lot of female characters that existed.
Yeah, and the characters are written with what would the word be? Not dignity, respect, I suppose,
Yes,
for
yeah.
what's come before them.
Yeah, what's really nice is that we're getting these characters, and the fact that they do happen to be women doesn't impact at all how they interact in the stories.
Well, the whole story, Ursula's whole story is her realizing the legacy that's behind her that was built by her father. It's Jude Reed was very, very strong that it was a father-daughter story because she understood that Warhammer was built on stories of fatherhood.
Yeah, that's pretty decent way of looking at things. And
clever lady.
Yeah, and I'm not saying there aren't books where they do have situations where a female character runs up against more than a little bit of sexism in Imperial institutions. But it's always handled, I think, exceptionally well because the writers get that part of this point of the universe is saying, well, yeah, these institutions at this point are even stupider for doing this because it don't matter.
The universe has its own sets of rules, its own prejudices. You know, there is sexism, but is there room to be sexist when it's more important to be xenophobic?
Absolutely. So we've got the next Minka Lenks book.
Yes.
But also the last Dawn of Fire book for Silent King.
That was a surprise. So literally just the other day I was thinking I am very, very far behind on Dawn of Fire. And
and it's by Guy.
Oh, you're joking.
Nope.
Oh, beautiful. Oh.
And let me see. I spy Bobby G. I spy the Silent King. Oh, who's that in the background? Is that Mr. Cole?
That's
Paging Belisarius.
So there is. Oh, I'm so glad it's Guy Haley. I'm going to derail for just another minute, but literally, I think just today I was sitting and I was like, I really like the Dawn of Fire that I've read up to. I don't think it was the best thing to have them written by different authors, because in Guy Haley, he set up so many character stories. He had the names are all escaping me because I'm so excited right now. He had the not the Remembrancer. What are they called?
Historitors.
The Historitors. Fabian. There was his story. There was the Inquisitor and his retinue.
Yep.
There is, of course, Gilliman, and alongside of that, there's Call.
Mm-hmm.
And
there was the poor clerk who I really hope we return to her at some point, because she didn't deserve the way her tale ended. That was
the one that delivered the warning that she got in the Emperor's Tarot.
yeah, and it was Fabian was supposed to receive it, and he'd already gone by that point.
I want to see that's probably going to get answered in this final one, and of course, it's no secret that I don't know anything about Necrons. I've not read any Necron books. I have not read The Infinite and the Divorced yet. But I do try to have my finger kind of like on the pulse, and I remember when no wonder they introduced that trilogy just a few weeks ago. The Silent King trilogy, and everyone lost their goddamn minds. I missed out on getting it online.
Oh, the Twice Dead King.
The Twice Dead King. Different story.
Yeah.
But people are mad for Necrons. And the Silent King, he is the guy, isn't he?
Yeah. So this is this is kind of interesting.
Don't send me to the Pariah Nexus, he said.
Yeah. Which this means I actually have books 5 to 8 still to read next to me, so I need to get on that ASAP.
I need to get my finger out, because this you've probably seen me raving about these books and how I fell down like this personal little insane conspiracy rabbit hole about how Gilliman is facing, I might have said this to you before, very much the same trials that Horace faced.
Yeah, in a lot of ways he has been facing the same sorts of issues and temptations, and
stabbed to death by an anathema blade, resurrected, disillusioned with his father. You know, the whole dealing with the religion of his father, and he is aware that fate and the gods, which he doesn't believe in because gods aren't real, he knows that he's a pawn in the big regicide game. It's fantastic, but of course he has the knowledge of what happened and what happened to his brothers. He's trying to stay loyal,
and his sense of duty as well.
I'm a huge fan of time being a flat circle.
Yeah,
especially in storytelling, with the custodians leaving Terra and being highly suspicious of him, because why would they trust the Primarch? They see what Primarchs have done in the past. The galaxy burned.
Absolutely. See, the thing I'm really interested about is because we're also waiting on the third of Dan Abnett's Beckwin trilogy.
Yes.
Which we know is coming, and it's got a title. It's called Pandemonium.
The timelines are a bit mental right now, aren't they?
Oh yeah, the timelines of the 40k universe at this specific point are exceptionally messed up. It's wonderful.
Silent King is before Plague Wars, which is before...
I'm not entirely sure, to be fair, because
they pushed the Plague Wars out.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's right. Because they redid when it was set. It was supposed to be 100 years.
Yeah, and then
it's now become like a decade.
And then there's the Call books, which is leading into Necrons. Oh, my head hurts.
Doesn't it just? Isn't it wonderful?
It's fantastic.
Yeah. The thing I'm intrigued by is that this is the final part of the Dawn of Fire. So we've had Dawn of Fire, we've had the Gilliman books. Technically, the furthest we are down the timeline is going to be the Call books.
That
title... unless this is the Call books. Depending on what timeline we do, stuff happens.
That title, Dawn of Fire, just has me clawing at the walls of my little cell, because I call me crazy. I love conflict and story writing, and I want grim dark to stay grim dark.
Yeah, I mean that's the beautiful thing about the 40k universe, especially, and it's one of the things I love about reading the Heresy books. The Heresy books at the start, they show you the glimmer of hope that everything might have been worth it to get to that point. Every atrocity, every sacrifice, there was a specific point that was deemed that the Emperor Malkdor deemed that everything we're doing is worth it if we can get to here. And the great tragedy is that, well, everything derails, and that endpoint is now impossible, because what became the Imperium is 10,000 years of
I mean, I'm not ready for another 10,000 years of the absolute worst time ever, but mark me for a heretic. I
Gilliman.
want to see the galaxy burn again. You're in and out, my man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm hoping that after this we might get a book where Gilliman and the Lion meet at last.
Oh, please.
Because I want to see what they're like at this point. And I have mentioned on another podcast that, because I know now that Space Wolves are coming in the next year.
Yes.
We know that Fulgrim's coming.
Mm-hmm.
And as has been tradition, a traitor Primarch is always followed or heralded by a loyalist Primarch.
Yep.
Now, we have 2/3 of the Triumvirate of Ultramar of Second Imperium.
Yes,
Yeah.
Elwood,
the third part cannot return. He is the most deadest character in the setting outside of Horus.
Wow.
I will say that unequivocally. I do not believe they will ever bring Sanguinius back.
What about my beloved son, Ferrus Manus? May he rest in peace.
Ferrus isn't fully dead. He's the essence leading the Legion of the Damned.
Yeah, Primarchs don't really die. They just kind of bugger off into the warp for a while, don't they?
Well, the thing is, of the remainders, so Vulcan and the Khan, as much as I adore them both, they don't really have the traction amongst the fan base to warrant returning. And their chapters really don't have the same. They don't have the critical mass of my beloved Sons of Fenris.
Hang on. Let me just say very quickly for the listeners, because I know some massive White Scars fans. I do not second this man's opinions.
Look, Jagatai has had a 10,000-year vacation on Comora.
Do not at me in your hate comments.
Look, if he wanted to take a vacation to have a Barney and the pit fights, that's his business. Vulcan, he's been AWOL since turning the Primorcs into nuclear fire, but we know he'll come back because he always comes back. Vulcan lives. Hoorah. Dawn, honestly, who knows at this point? Dawn's departure has been rewritten so many ways. He's either missing a hand or he's a corpsicle. Who knows?
I want to see him come back.
Corax we know will only return when they finally make a miniature of Lorgar. Because Corax's mission in life seems to be to make Lorgar's life a living hell.
Understandable, to be fair.
And given they are both now demonic in at least part, that's an eternity of making Lorgar look over his shoulder, and I'm all here for it.
Yeah.
But having recently gone for a big re-listen, including a lot of specifically Space Wolf focused parts of Heresy, and them being the chapter I have more minis of than anything else at the moment, and always have been, I've come to a conclusion that for everyone else, for Heresy, it was a forge for what their legions would become, but they didn't really see what it would become. They never had a plan for it. Not really. Gilliman's plan for the Codex, Astartes, that was always supposed to be a stopgap. He was never able to provide the other half to the Codex.
Well, they always planned for there to be galaxy-wide peace after the Crusade, didn't they?
Yeah, but specifically in his reformations of the Space Marine Legions of chapters, that was never his end point. But because he was put in stasis before he could write the second half, that's become kind of baked into the heart of the Imperium and the chapter system.
Yes.
The Lion, he disappeared before that even happened. He had the entire command structure, the High Command of the First Legion, they fell at Caliban. However you want to take that, the Dark Angel's high command on both sides effectively vanished in the wake of the fall of Caliban.
Yeah.
Russ, however, the Heresy is pretty much from the fall of Prospero, the burning. From that point on, every step he takes is working to reforge the Space Wolves, to turn the route into something better.
It's
because he sees what they've they were, how people see them. He sees how he specifically could be manipulated.
Yeah.
And his whole thing, including making Bjorn part of his inner circle and some of the choices he makes in, I don't want to say sacrificing, but deploying certain elements of the Legion,
Mm.
elements that were indicative of the more extreme antagonism that they could invoke.
Yeah.
He left because he left Fenris. Eventually, he leaves it when it's the chapter. He's broken the Legion in two to form the Wolf Brothers and the Space Wolves.
Yeah.
And then he leaves, and he leaves Bjorn behind and takes all of his other close confidants with him. And from that point on, Bjorn, in turn, sets the foundation for what the Space Wolves become in the 41st millennium, which is much more. I mean, bear in mind, Logan Grimnar is beloved.
Mm.
He is repeatedly referred to as the most beloved hero of the Imperium. There are others who are more respected, like Dante.
Yeah.
But amongst the average citizenry of the Imperium, if anyone hears the name Logan Grimnar, it is spoken in terms of awe and love.
Reverence. Yeah.
Yes, he is the greatest hero of the Imperium to most people.
Mm.
And the Space Wolves, for all they are still rambunctious, fractious, they can be assholes, as the Ragnar Blackmane books, all of his stories make particular points to say. He can be an asshole.
It's just very human, though, isn't it?
It is. And they also have a very interesting. Some of the books have established a very interesting relationship that they have with the tribes of Fenris. It's not just Skywarriors. Some of the tribes actually know the Space Wolves very well.
Yeah.
They exist in a much closer proximity. But the
It's-
wolves generally have a better relationship with mortal people than any other chapter does.
Yeah, it's just it's trying to predict how things will go, because there's been such a time in universe, but there's also been such a time outside of the universe that you'll have different writers and plans will have changed. And then of course there's the more Primarchs that come back, the bigger the setting will get, and it'll become this massive epic again instead of being tight and small. And you do have to wonder, because there won't really be an end game, because the books are sold alongside the tabletop game.
Yeah, it is one of those things where, I mean, so many settings that are also game settings that have fiction attached to them. It's like Battletech's a great example. So many of one of the criticisms I've seen leveled at Battletech fiction is that so many of the stories, or the follow-ons to stories that ended in places that people think, oh, this is a good place for these characters to have ended. The next book then upends that by either having them act completely out of character, or does things to them that is genuinely heartbreaking to see happen, because it breaks them as characters.
That's 40k though, isn't it? Only War.
It is, yeah. But part of me is intrigued to see if they bring Russ back as a counterpoint to Guilliman and the Lion. Because my take on things is that Guilliman and the Lion have both basically slept through 10,000 years.
Yes.
The Lion is physically older, but he has not lived those 10 millennia. I suspect Russ is going to be the one who has.
Yeah, he'll actually have the first-hand experience and the wisdom.
Yes. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing an older, not necessarily wiser, but more a Russ who is more of a balance to the other two.
Yes.
And much more of a knowing balance, so he understands better his place and the way he can check them.
It'll be really nice to see the Primarchs acting like brothers again.
Yeah, I mean, one of the joyful things for me is that when Russ and the Lion last meet, and it's actually written in Russ's Primarch novel, their relationship is vastly changed to what it was earlier in the book, and And in fact, it is followed. Their journey has actually been written about for, again, nearly 30 years in
Yeah.
some of the lore bits that were attached to the Dark Angel and Space Wolf codexes, or Angels of Death as it was for the Dark Angels back in the day. And their journey, where they go from these rivals who started a great grudge to eventually being genuine friends and comrades in arms, is one that we have seen written about and written out properly in the
Yeah.
lore. But it'll be interesting to see how they tackle that with them as they are in the 41st millennium. So yeah, I can't wait. But this is. I thought Guy would come back to write the end of Dawn of Fire. I didn't expect to see it revealed this soon, though. To be fair,
I didn't expect to see it as a blink and you'll miss it.
Yeah, you'd have thought they'd have done a bigger reveal for it. To be fair, but
I suppose though they do have the Black Library celebration, which is like second
it's
Christmas
true.
for me.
I know. It's all a case of. I mean, I'm just waiting to see what the mini this year is going to be because they've had some good ones over the years.
There's been some bangers. I mean, the release of Demon Breaker with the Revelling mini out of nowhere was an absolute delight.
Yeah, and it was a joy to build as well, even with the little cherubs.
Oh, so. she went quickly as well. That mini. Apparently, it's very hard to get her now.
Yeah, I made a point of whenever they do these minis, I try and make a point of ordering 2 because I'm such an one, I love to kit bash, so I love having spare parts and bits to hand. But more than once, someone's mentioned that they missed out on a mini. I've just gone, well, I've got one. Give me postage and what it cost me, and you can have it.
Yeah.
So, because if I've got a chance to, can't hurt.
I keep saying I'll get my hands on Messenius eventually.
He's actually fairly easy to get hold of still.
He's easy to get. It's funny, isn't it?
I mean, I think because he was, I say this somewhat mocking, because he was just a Space Marine captain.
I was going to say this. But it's part of the charm. No, it isn't even him as a character. It's the scene that was written into, I can't even remember if it was, I think it was one of the first Avenging Sun.
Yeah.
And it's so separate from the rest of the novel, and it's Gilliman calling him into the office, and he's like, I got your present, open a box. And it's like, oh, wow, Dad, it's a new gun. Sure is, keep looking. Oh, wow, thanks, Dad, it's a new sword. Yep, you're getting a new mini. Congratulations, son, it's in the book too.
Yeah, that was fun.
I do try to find little bits in the books that that you can tell have been written in because they have to match up with something on the tabletop. Like every chapter receiving their Primaris Marines. We don't want Primaris Marines. Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to the day where the Primaris aren't really... I mean, they're not really now treated as being really any different in the rules. Their stat lines to regular Marines are pretty much 1-for-1.
Yeah.
But just where there's going to be a point, I hope, where the intercessors get repackaged with a sprue that lets you build them as a tactical squad. Yeah. So they can have a missile, a heavy weapon, and a special weapon. I look forward to that day because I miss tactical squads is to me one of the iconic elements of the Space Marines because of how they're built. I look forward to the day where a lot of the I don't know. I adore a lot of the Primaris range, but I want them to be. It can still be better. It just needs little tweaks.
Yes.
And I will admit, part of me will be sad when Firstborn Marines get retired fully.
Oh yeah.
But I'm kind of encouraged by the fact that the Heresy range has given us rescaled Firstborn Marines who are actually pretty much the same size as Primaris and better proportioned. So.
Yeah, Heresy minis are basically it's kind of the range for people who don't want the change, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I've got a Blood Angel army waiting to be primed that is pretty much all either a second and third edition Blood Angels and Horus Heresy minis, but yeah. I might have that in for Wings.
Very good taste, by the way. Blood Angels.
Well, they were actually the first force I ever built and painted for 40k.
Mm.
Yeah, but maybe the army I'm actually replicating from one of the old White Dwarfs. The first army build article they did.
Oh, with the yellow trim instead of gold.
I
like that. The old school.
Yeah, they had a bit of that. So this was back in Rogue Trader.
Mm.
They did their first 2 army build articles. One on Gazgul, which introduced Gazgul to the setting.
Yep.
And the other one introduced Captain Tycho.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all using either Beakies,
Yeah.
the first metal Mark 7 Marines, and a few other bits and pieces. So I've basically replicated it more or less, using bits and pieces. Plus, I had all the Metal Death Company from 3rd edition.
Yeah.
Enough to build a full squad, so I've got a bunch of those as well. And some other bits I've kit bashed.
Very nice.
Yeah. I love kit bashing. Can't get around to painting a damn thing though, but I'll do it eventually. I've got RUB stacked to the roof full of forces to paint at some point.
Yeah, I know another fella who his bread and butter is kit bashing. He's mad for it.
It's just so much fun, especially with plastic. I do miss metal sometimes, but they were a pain to convert.
Yeah.
And I say that as someone who has done a lot of metal on metal and metal on plastic kit bashes in the past. I do not miss metal.
Easier to carve down the plastic or just 3D print your own bits, I suppose.
Absolutely. And the thing is, there's a lot of metals you can actually make from whole. I've still got metal minis I'm using with either parts I've carried over from other kits in plastic, or I've just rebased them to fit the current basing sizes for the army.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with metal. It's just sometimes. Oh.
And I was just going to say, there's still plenty of companies that make their minis out of metal.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I collect Infinity as my side game.
Yes, I've got a few of those.
Yeah, and their stuff has gone from strength to strength, and they have started using like COcast for bigger kits to try and keep the cost down because of the rising price of metals. But their infantry is still, to my mind, some of the finest work you will find on the market.
Oh, they're really nice minis. I've got managed to get my hands on their Joan of Arc mini.
Yeah, which one? The one that's running?
The one that looks like
up high?
Yeah, the one that looks like Saber.
Yeah, yeah. I actually worked out. I actually own like 4 different versions of Joan.
Yeah, so 4 of them.
Well, they did. I got the original mobility armor version where she's running.
Yeah.
They did a special version with the first Enhal Heralde's art book where she's kind of like looking over one shoulder.
Yes.
There's the one with the sword raised up high with the 2 heads.
Yeah.
I got that out of the Military Orders box set. I hadn't intended to buy it, but it was in there, so what the hell. And then they did the mobility armor version. They got the main release that gave her the Spitfire, but there was a limited release of her that had the sword.
Yeah.
And I managed to get 2 of the versions of the sword.
I've just picked her up. The one I've got is where she's looking over her shoulder.
That is a very nice mini though. That was back when they first really shifted across into digital design and the new aesthetic they wanted for power armor and stuff.
Yeah, I don't even play. I bought the art book because the designs are just so beautiful.
Yeah, I still wish they'd done a second art book because the artwork across the range for those is fantastic.
It's amazing.
And that's another tangent we've gone down.
Yeah.
I think of this one we should probably wrap things up because it's gone 8.
Are you getting EP as well?
I need to eat, so
I'm getting
hungry.
I ate early. Tank Marvin, I'm getting tuckered out though. I'll be honest, my age is catching up with me.
That's fair dues, but this has been an absolute delight. So
it's always really good to chat to you.
Thank you.
Even though we've only done it twice.
Yeah. Well, I like to talk to people when I can, and this has been wonderful. So thank you for agreeing to come on. It was Great.
Thank you. I was just about to say thank you very much for reaching out again. It was a really, really pleasant surprise.
No worries.
Really enjoyed doing this.
That's all right. I hope everyone listening has enjoyed this stream. Which,
I did.
yeah,
Me too.
yeah. I'm sure my bank balance is cursing it because there's so much from this what I really fancy for different armies.
Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine until that Black Library celebration comes round. And
Yeah.
my bestie sent me a link this morning telling me that Sabaton are touring the UK next year.
Oh.
Yep. So it's going to be another very expensive year. So I am going to have to get my side hustle hustling.
That sounds like a plan. Well, before we go, Swan, would you like to tell everyone where to find you?
Oh, right. Okay. I have. God, there's like 40 social medias now, isn't there?
I know.
But it's fine. I've kept it all as tight as possible. So I'm on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube under the name Swan Forge. Hopefully you can hear that okay, my silly accent. And not posting as much, but I am also on Blue Sky as well. And you're never going to believe it. I'm Swan Forge there too. You will know me by my little duck with the headphones on icon or my my Lower Yammer banner.
Excellent. Well, I can be found on all the socials as David, with the weird Welsh spelling. Look either for this delightful artistic representation of myself as drawn by our own Mr. Gruff.
Hell yeah.
Or a picture of Cup. That's my other avatar. I haven't changed everything yet. So
hell yeah. Good taste.
Yeah. Cup is my spirit animal, I think, at this point. I relate to him more and more as the years go on. But on which note, if you've listened through all this, thank you so much, and I do apologise.
I don't.
Well, yeah, but that's on point. But thank you very much, and well, we'll have to do this again sometime.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
No worries. Have a good one, folks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.